JackLater here. It's 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and go forward with our Periscope. Let me get things adjusted here. I'm going to talk about two great individuals. Obviously, today is Martin Luther King Day, this is interesting. Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King knew each other well, and they had a good relationship because of the causes that they were fighting. And I just want to mention something in this Periscope that's very, very powerful. Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali, in their own way, in their own worlds, achieved greatness. And boy, people looked up to them big time. And let's analyze this for a second, because both individuals drew massive crowds, and they did wonderful, great things. So, what does this have to do with business and marketing and success in general, and not just in business, but for social change, for creating an impact in people's lives? I'm a marketer, and so I'm going to talk about marketing today, and how a person's vision, a person's dream, persistence, consistency, all of those things have a huge impact. I'm going to give another minute for people to jump on here, but again, my name is JackLater, and I'm an internet marketer. I love internet marketing. It's been so good to me. It's been for example, I've hit the top 10 of 3 different internet marketing systems, and this is competing among tens of thousands of people. And as I've studied people like Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X and others, whether you agree with them or disagree, you've got to admit that they achieved a level of greatness that is monumental. And it's kind of interesting is, for example, Muhammad Ali said that I had to convince myself that I was great before I could convince others that I was great. And a lot of people looked at Muhammad Ali and said that this guy is cocky, and I guess, and there's no doubt he was, not probably. But you've got to admit that the man had such amazing confidence that, just a second here, I've got to make an adjustment here, that he had such amazing confidence that no one could really ignore him. Now, let's think about this for a second. As I've worked with people in my own business, in my own internet marketing business, I see something happening way too often. And that is a person really wants to make a change in their business. They really want to make a change in their economic situation, but yet they're not willing to, there's a lot of reasons for it. A lot of times they're not willing to pay the price. They're not willing to take the action steps that are necessary. And also, a good many of them are just simply lacking confidence in themselves, and as if they don't have the ability to grow. It's really too bad that too many people give up on themselves so quickly. And anyway, so it's kind of interesting as I've looked at great leaders such as Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali and other great people, Abraham Lincoln. Think about the people that you really look up to in your life who've achieved phenomenal greatness. Religious leaders, for example. Think about what they did and what character traits can you emulate. Yes, I admit that some people are not worth emulating, but many people are. What kind of traits? Not that I'm trying to become like a certain person or copycat them, but what kind of positive character traits do they possess that I want to possess? I've got to, just a second here, I'm going to need to fix something on my my periscope here. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so as a marketer, let's think about this for a second. As marketers, what are the character traits that impress you that maybe you can emulate and attract people in your business? Internet marketing is in large part, especially in network marketing, is in large part about attracting other people. Attraction marketing, we call it. You know, think about great people who have really, really done well in attraction marketing. You know, a lot of us will say, well, he was a natural born this, he was a natural born that. And they limit themselves. Yeah, it's true. We're all a natural born something to a certain extent. We all have gifts and abilities and talents that we've all been blessed with. And I think that the main thing that separates the truly great people from maybe average people is that they were. I think they were aware of their gifts, their abilities, their talents, and they used those to the best ability that they possibly could. And so anyway, what is it about Martin Luther King? What is it about Muhammad Ali and others? You know, it's kind of interesting. Muhammad Ali, why are we bringing him up? Well, here he was just a boxer. Most boxers didn't never achieve the kind of notoriety and ability to attract a crowd like Muhammad Ali did. In fact, Ali was the first $1 million earner in boxing. Before that, boxers really weren't paid nearly as much money. We had some boxers that did well financially, but not nearly. Ali was the one that kind of opened the door for the high income earners. First $1 million purse. I think you hear something like $35 million or something while he was boxing, and then of course additional income after he was boxing. And even though the last 30 some years, Ali has battled Parkinson's disease. It's kind of interesting. Even in the last 20 years, you haven't seen him much in public. Because of how severe his Parkinson's disease is. But yet, he still draws a phenomenal crowd wherever he goes. Whenever he is seen in public, he often, he usually attracts a massive, massive crowd. Well, why is that? Why is it that a person like Martin Luther King, at such a young age, in his 30s, can attract millions of people to his cause? You know, there were other great people who really did phenomenal things for their causes, but very few people were able to attract the attention of Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali. Now, they both attracted in their own ways. They didn't always agree with one another, but they did respect one another. For example, Martin Luther King respected Muhammad Ali's confidence and courage. For example, even though, and Martin Luther King said that, this is a quote, Martin Luther King said that that no matter if you agree or disagree or how you feel about Mr. Muhammad Ali's religion, you've got to respect his confidence, his absolute confidence and courage. You've got to respect his courage, is the word he used. You've got to respect his courage. And he said that, and again, remember, this was in the middle of all of the fire and fervor of the Vietnam War, when Muhammad Ali was protesting as a conscientious objector, Muhammad Ali said that if you find, not Muhammad Ali, but Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said about Muhammad Ali, he said that if any of you find this war morally objectionable, then file as a conscientious objector, and this was on moral grounds. And Martin Luther King didn't say break the law. He says file as a conscientious objector, and to follow suit. Many people did that, and it's interesting because during the Vietnam War in the late 1960s, especially 1967, 1968, many people were vehemently opposed to Ali's outspokenness and his objection to the Vietnam War and his objection in fighting the Vietnam War. But yet, years later, most people agree that Muhammad Ali was right, that Vietnam was a wrong war, that we were there for the wrong reasons. No one won that war, and it was a morally objectionable war to many people now. We think about compare. It's kind of interesting because we compare, let's say, the Second World War with Vietnam War, and there was great cause and associated with the Second World War, and there was an enemy at that time we considered an enemy that had attacked Pearl Harbor, and many people felt that they were violated, and America had to be protected, and it was a little bit different because an aggressor attacked a base in Pearl Harbor, and many people got killed as a result of that. I don't think that any war is a good war, but yet Vietnam was a war that turned out to be I can't think of a war in history that was where people objected more to than the Vietnam War. So anyway, back to my original subject in marketing and attracting a crowd and attraction marketing. What did Ali and Martin Luther King, what did they have that caused them to attract such a crowd? You could say that they were definitely controversial in their time, and there's something to be said for that. I don't think we should go out of our way to be controversial, but sometimes we have to be controversial, and we have to risk being controversial in order to get our word out. On the other hand, what else did they have? You've got to say that Ali and Martin Luther King were willing to put everything on the line. They were willing to, they had an indomitable courage. Like I said earlier, Muhammad Ali said that he had to convince himself that he was great before he could convince others that he was great. Now he clarified himself later on. He said, "I'm not the greatest of all things." He says, "I'm not God," but he says that I'm the greatest boxer of all times. He felt and believed inside that he was the greatest boxer, and he clarified that. I think too many times he said he was great so often that people misunderstood that, but he was clear in saying that he's the greatest boxer of all time. He had to convince himself of that greatness before he could convince others of that greatness. What else did Ali and Martin Luther King have that attracted so many people. Let's bring out some adjectives right now, and maybe you can think of some adjectives yourself, and how can we apply that to our own business? Martin Luther King had a dream. He had a vision. He was a visionary. Muhammad Ali was a visionary, absolute visionary. And it's interesting because Ali believed in his heart that he was a great boxer, not because he was a great boxer itself, but because he had a cause, he had a vision. He cared more about his people and his cause than he did boxing. When he fought George Foreman in Zaire, Africa, for the heavyweight championship of the world, he was fighting for his people. He believed that he had to beat George Foreman for his cause to move forward, and that boxing was just a tool. His belief in God, his belief in the cause of his people were greater than his boxing, even though he was a phenomenal boxer. Martin Luther King, like I said, had a vision, talked about a vision, talked about in his great I Have a Dream speech in front of the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., and I think it was 1963. He talked about this vision that he has, and that vision drove him. He put his life on the line, and many times before he finally was assassinated in 1968. But his dream, his vision, carries on. My heavens, we even have a day devoted to honoring Martin Luther King because of his vision and what that vision accomplished. He was only 39 years old. 38, yeah, I think he was 39 years old when he died. But yet, here we are, 40 some years later, and we still honor what he's done. So he had a great vision. And he talked about that dream, talked about that vision, and it drove him, it moved him, it motivated him. It caused him to because of that the passion that he had, the excitement that he had, the drive, the deep down conviction that he had, others followed him as a result of that. Drive, vision, write these down, on a separate sheet of paper. Drive, vision, a dream, confidence, a willingness to risk. What else can you think of? A willingness to risk. Ali said that a man who is not willing to take risks is not going to accomplish anything in life. Yeah, risks are scary, but you've got to take the risks, whatever they are. Now, I'm not saying don't think things through. Yeah, you need to think things through, but once you've thought out something, once you've done your homework and studied a choice out, take the risk and move forward. I've taken many, many risks in my life, not knowing beforehand what I was really going to do, how I was going to accomplish it. I hit the top 10 leaderboard in, like I said, in three different internet marketing systems. One of those involved a network marketing company, and but I did it. I took big risks because I didn't. In other words, they seemed like big risks at the time because I didn't know beforehand what I was going to do. I just figured I would find a way or make a way for it to happen. You just find a way or make a way. The longer I do internet marketing, the more I realize that it's less about technique and computer. What am I trying to do? It's less about technique than it is about mindset, and confidence. I could teach you skills of video marketing, for example, and blogging that can take you to the top of your company too. But the question is are you going to do what you need to do to work on yourself? Are you willing to develop your skills of persistence and consistency and downright determination and unwillingness to give up? And are you willing to have a dream? Are you willing to wake up in the morning and get things moving? Are you willing to pay the price that it takes to be successful for your family? Are you willing to put in the hours? Are you willing to not have to count the hours? Persistence, consistency, vision, unwillingness to give up, willingness to put everything on the line. It's kind of interesting because Ali, I keep talking about both of these individuals. Muhammad Ali was asked by Phil Donahue at one time. I know this kind of dates me, but he was asked by Phil Donahue, did you box people that were stronger than you? And he says much stronger. George Foreman, Sonny Liston, Ernie Shavers. He said that Ernie Shavers had the hardest punch of anyone he had ever fought. He said, and his phrase was, he says, I fought men that were much stronger than me, stronger than Ban Roll-On. That was deodorant. So he took on guys that were much stronger than him. Well, how did he do it? Well, he had some natural abilities. He was fast. He was super fast. But there were other boxers who were fast also, who were probably just as fast, who never achieved the rankings that Ali did. But he had a tremendous confidence and courage. It's interesting that you ought to watch the fight in Zaire sometime on YouTube, the Rumble in the Jungle. George Foreman was bigger than Ali. Many people believe that. George Foreman was undefeated, and Ali was just coming back from his 2.5-year layover because of fighting his case with the Supreme Court and his objection to the Vietnam War. And he had been a world champion before 1967. But the boxing commission took his boxing license away and took his title away from him. Well, he came back after he won his case. He came back and fought several people. And when he fought George Foreman for the heavyweight title to regain his title back, even though George Foreman was much bigger than Ali and younger than Ali, Ali talked to him throughout the entire fight in Zaire. He would say stuff like, you can't hit what you can't see. He says, is that all you got, George? He would say, he just talked to him, called him a sissy during the fight. During the whole fight, he talked to him and just psychologically. See, that's the one thing that he would do. He would psychologically get to his opponents. Much of what he did was in his head, and he just worked on Foreman, and he did things that in the fight that were considered unorthodox, and he was willing to take risks in that fight that you weren't supposed to do. For example, in that Foreman fight, he did the rope-a-dope. He stayed on the ropes and he blocked himself. And his trainer and his entourage kept telling him, get off the ropes, get off the ropes. They were yelling at him, get off the ropes. And because in most cases, a fighter that was on the ropes was probably going to get walked down by his opponent. And even Joe Frazier, who was at that fight, kept saying to the other commentators, she says, if he doesn't get off that rope, George Foreman is going to walk him down and punish him. But yet, Ali was punishing George Foreman even though he was on the ropes. And so he had this unorthodox strategy. Something you weren't supposed to do is get on the ropes. And so what he did is he wore George Foreman down. George Foreman, he knew George Foreman didn't go past about the fourth round or so, and he relied on beating his opponents in the first four rounds, and he usually did annihilate his opponents in the first 4 rounds. But Ali was smart enough to wear Foreman down to the point where he was so tired. Ali said, "This is the wrong place to get tired." Yeah, I mean, kept saying stuff like so. He stayed on the ropes during the whole time, and finally wore George Foreman down to the point in the 8th round he was so tired that Ali just came back and hit a combination of about 8 punches and knocked him out. Phenomenal upset. An undefeated champion that everybody thought was fearless. Confidence, courage, consistency, persistence, hard work, tenacity. We're not talking about Las Vegas here. If you want to gamble, go to Vegas. If you want to tip your toe in water, go to the beach. Internet marketing and business marketing and having a business of your own is not for sissies. You may as well just go back to your job and focus on your job. At least you have a steady paycheck, even if it's minimum wage or whatever. But in network marketing, the sky is the limit. There's months that I've made much more money in my internet marketing business than I did as a teacher. So the sky is the limit, but you have to be willing to think differently. You need to think like a champion. You need to have confidence that you can accomplish whatever. This is not an industry of trying. It's not an industry of trying. You've got to be a doer. You have to take action. You have to do whatever it takes. You have to find a way or make a way for it to happen. Somehow, some way, when Ali was in the ring with Foreman, he was in quite a battle, especially the first 5 rounds. But he just had to find a way to master this man. And he did. He found a way. He found a way and he made a way. Even though it was a little bit unorthodox and unpopular on the ropes, that's what did it in that battle. Find a way or make a way. Martin Luther King, why was he so great? He had a dream. He had passion. He rallied people around his cause to help him out, and they grew massive crowds. Well, not all of us are Ali's. Not all of us are Martin Luther Kings. That's true. But can you do that to a certain fraction? Maybe 50%, maybe a quarter. They were human. They both had their weaknesses. Absolutely, both of them did. And Ali could list them. He wasn't too vocal about it, and that's another key point. Is don't go around, vocalizing all of your weaknesses to everybody. We all have weaknesses. Both of those great individuals had weaknesses, but yet they were great. They did everything they could. They found a way and they made a way. Anyway, I hope you got some value with this. I know this was a bit of a rant, but think of the adjectives. Okay, what adjectives describe you? Okay, what are your strengths? List them. What were the traits of Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali? I'm going to list just at the top of my head right now that I'm going to end this Periscope, and see if you can extend that list. Maybe you have it on a sheet of paper or whatever. So, top of the list, they had a vision. They had a dream. They have confidence. They had persistence, consistency, willing to put everything on the line, willing to pay the price, willing to do anything that it takes, whatever it takes. They found a way. They made a way. Consistency, the unwillingness to give up, the willingness to win, unwillingness to give up. Ali was probably the hardest trainer. The interesting thing is that Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali's trainer, he said that, a lot of people probably think, my heavens, he must be hard to get along with. Angelo Dundee said he was the easiest person to get along with. Never had an argument. Isn't that interesting? As outspoken and as controversial as Muhammad Ali was, no, he never had an argument with his trainer. In all of the years that he trained him, it was a lot of years too, from the early 60s till 1981 is how long Angelo Dundee was Ali's trainer. Persistence, consistency, unwillingness to give up, a willingness to fight. Those are the paramount things. The way I look at it is this: the success in our marketing, online success online. You can think of it as a huge iceberg. At the top of the iceberg is the traffic, the strategies, the techniques, the skills that you'll learn, the marketing skills, the blogging, the video, the email marketing, the social media. Those are the skills. Now, think about an iceberg, though. What's underneath the iceberg? What's underneath the water? Well, 80% of the volume of an iceberg is under the water. It's the mindset stuff, the consistency, persistence, the tenacity, the unwillingness to give up. And it's interesting because when I do, or when anybody in our industry does mindset training, they don't get as much of a following. Everybody wants to hear the stuff that they see above the water. They want to hear about the traffic getting, the blogging, the video, the techniques. That's the 10%. Yeah, it's important, and you need to do it. You need to develop those skills. It's really important. But larger than that is the stuff under the water. I venture to say that there's a lot of people out there who know the skills very well, who've taken the courses and mastered skills, but maybe they don't have the persistence. Maybe they don't have the consistency. In internet marketing, you've got to be consistent. There was and I'll end with this, there was a study that showed that a person could get 800% increase in traffic if they showed consistency in their blogging, and it was proven over a 3-month period of time. It was proven that a person could get an 800% increase in traffic with their blog if they were consistent on a daily basis. And you'll learn about, if you go to workwithjacklater.com, you can find that study there, workwithjacklater.com. Just type in the letters 800% in the search bar, and you'll see that study. But anyway, if you want to get if you want to get more training on internet marketing, on not only the traffic getting stuff, but the mindset training that it requires to do real well, to crush it in your home business, in network marketing or internet marketing, go to my blog, workwithjacklater.com, and in the search bar you could type in blog marketing, video marketing, mindset training, any problem that you're having in your business right now, whether it's the technical stuff or whether it's mindset stuff, prosperity mindset development training, go to workwithjacklater.com. I've hit the top 10 of a leaderboard of 3 different internet marketing systems. You can have confidence in what you see there. So go ahead and go to workwithjacklater.com. Also, feel free to share this by swiping either down or sideways, clicking the share button, leave me hearts, and go to workwithjacklater.com. It's with 1 T, by the way. Workwithjacklater, LATER.com. Workwithjacklater.com. Get the training that you need there. There's hundreds of free training right there, internet marketing training right there on my blog. So go ahead and go with workwithjacklater.com. Make it a great day. Now, 10 o'clock every day, I'm going to be doing these Periscopes, except for Wednesday. I'm probably going to do that later on in the day. I'm not sure what time because I have such a big schedule on Wednesdays. And I don't do any Periscopes on Sunday. I reserve that for my family and for my church service that I do. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 10 o'clock, be here and give you the training that you need. We talk anywhere from mindset to blogging to video marketing to email marketing to social marketing tips. This is a longer video today, but hope you find value in our daily Periscopes. So anyway, go to workwithjacklater.com. Follow me there. Check it out. And when you go to workwithjacklater.com, check out my 8-step checklist. It's free. 8-step checklist and video walkthrough to 30 to 50 leads per day. And you can do it. So go to workwithjacklater.com, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye.